Have you ever had a day where you worked and worked and worked, yet by the end of it, you felt like nothing truly moved forward? You answered messages, you handled tasks, you crossed things off your to-do list, but the important things, the ones that actually matter, somehow still didn't get done. It's frustrating, isn't it? Because most of us are told the same thing. If you want better results, try harder, work more, push more. But what if the problem isn't effort? What if the real problem is where that effort is going? That's where the 80-20 rule comes in, also known as the Pareto Principle. And it says something powerful. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. Think about that. Not everything you do matters equally. Not every task has the same value. Not every habit creates the same impact. Most of the progress you want in life, your growth, your success, your peace of mind, comes from just a small portion of what you do. Which means this: the goal of life is not to do more. The goal is to do what matters most, to stop spreading your energy everywhere and start focusing it on the few things that actually create change. And that's what this video is about. By the end of our time together today, you're going to understand how to apply the 80-20 rule to your work, your habits, your relationships, your learning, and your personal growth. You'll walk away with clarity, direction, and most importantly, focus. Because when you know which actions matter, you no longer need more motivation. You no longer need more hours. You no longer need to scatter your energy. You simply align your effort with what truly moves your life forward. Take a breath. Let's begin. The origin and meaning of the 80-20 rule. To understand the power of the 80-20 rule, we need to go back to where it began. In the late 1800s, an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto noticed something unusual in his garden. He saw that 20% of the pea pods were producing 80% of the healthy peas. It was just a simple observation, but Pareto was curious. He wondered if this same pattern existed elsewhere. So he began studying economics and discovered something shocking. 20% of the people in Italy held 80% of the country's wealth. He studied other countries. The pattern repeated. He looked at businesses. The pattern repeated. He looked at social systems. The pattern repeated. It wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence. It was a universal pattern. The insight Pareto had discovered something profound. Not all actions produce equal results. Some things create a massive impact. Most things create very little. This is the foundation of the 80-20 rule, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The 80-20 rule shows up everywhere. Look at business. 20% of customers generate 80% of the revenue. Look at your daily tasks. 20% of tasks create 80% of your meaningful progress. Look at personal development. 20% of habits shape 80% of your growth. Look at relationships. 20% of people in your life give you 80% of your emotional support, love, and strength. It's happening around you all the time. So, what does this mean for you? It means that most of the effort you're putting in is not actually moving your life forward, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're spreading your energy too thin. You're treating every task as equal, every responsibility as equal, every decision as equal, but they're not. Some actions matter infinitely more than others. The mindset shift. Most people ask, how can I do more? More work, more tasks, more goals, more effort. But highly effective people ask, what's the small thing that makes the biggest difference? Because when you find that thing, you no longer need to hustle harder. You no longer need to burn yourself out. You no longer need to fight to keep up. You simply place your energy exactly where it counts most, and everything begins to shift. In the next section, we're going to figure out your personal 20%, the actions, habits, and behaviors that create the biggest impact in your life. This is where transformation truly begins. Identify your personal 20%. Now that we understand what the 80-20 rule means, let's talk about how to apply it to your life. Because knowing the idea is one thing, but living it, that's where the transformation happens. The first step is simple but powerful. Ask yourself one question: what are the 2 to 3 actions in my life that create the most progress or results? Not the things you wish made a difference, but the things that actually do. The things that when you do them, your life noticeably moves forward. Let's look at some examples. Work example. You may spend your day checking messages, replying to notifications, scrolling through emails, dealing with small requests. It feels like work. It feels busy. It feels productive. But does it move you forward? Probably not. Compare that to something like sending 3 key messages, reaching out to important clients, working on the one project that makes the biggest impact. Those are high value actions. They move the needle, they create momentum, they matter. Not all work is equal. Learning and personal growth example. You might watch videos, you might read books, you might take notes, but the real growth happens when you teach what you learn. When you explain something in your own words, your understanding deepens, your memory strengthens, your clarity expands. Teaching is a 20% action that creates 80% of your learning. Health and fitness example. We often think we need intense workouts, fancy plans, or hours in the gym. But what actually improves long term health? A simple 20-minute walk every day. Doesn't require motivation, doesn't require equipment, doesn't require pressure, just consistency. That small daily habit creates massive long term benefits. One small action, big impact. So, how do you find your 20%? You don't guess, you see it clearly. Here is a simple method you can start today, the 80/20 worksheet. 1. List out all your daily or weekly tasks, work, routines, habits, responsibilities. 2. Circle the 20% of tasks that create the most progress, results, or meaning. These are your high value actions. 3. Do those first every single day. Even if you only complete those 2 to 3 actions and nothing else, your life will still move forward because you focused your energy on what actually matters. A moment of reflection. You don't need to do more. You don't need to hustle, grind, or overwhelm yourself. You just need to identify the few actions that change everything and honor them. Your life does not transform through pressure. It transforms through clarity. And clarity begins with asking, what are the few things that truly matter? In the next section, we're going to talk about something equally important: how to remove the 80% of things that drain your time, attention, and energy. Because once you clear space, your power increases. Let's continue. Cut the 80% that wastes time. Now that you know what your 20% is, the actions that actually move your life forward, there's a second part of the 80/20 rule that is equally important. You must remove the things that are holding you back, because you can't add more progress until you remove distraction. Your time, your energy, your attention, they are limited. And if they are constantly being drained, your progress will always feel slow, no matter how hard you work. So let's talk about the things that silently steal your time: the invisible time wasters. These are habits we don't even question anymore because they're so common. They feel normal. 1. Constant notifications. Every buzz, every ping, every alert interrupts your focus. Even if you don't pick up your phone, your mind is already divided. 2. Mindless scrolling. A few minutes turns into 30. 30 turns into an hour, and you don't even remember what you consumed. 3. Busy work disguised as productivity, answering messages, reorganizing folders, checking email for the 10th time. It feels productive, but it doesn't move you forward. 4. Trying to please everyone. Saying yes to everything is the fastest way to lose yourself. These things drain 80% of your energy while giving you almost nothing in return. The key realization: not everything deserves your energy. It's not cold. It's not selfish. It's clarity. Your energy is precious. Your attention is valuable. Your time is non refundable. When you stop giving energy to what does not matter, you finally have space for what does. The elimination method. Here's how to simplify your life and cut the waste. Step 1. Identify low impact activities. Look at your routine and ask, what do I do that gives very little return? Step 2. Reduce, delegate, or remove them completely. You don't need to eliminate everything overnight. Just start with one small step. Turn off non-essential notifications, limit scrolling to a specific time, set boundaries around your time, say no when your heart wants to say no. Each small removal creates a huge amount of space. What happens when you create space? Clarity rises, stress decreases, your mind feels lighter, your day feels more calm, and your progress becomes visible. Because now your effort is no longer scattered. It is aligned, and aligned effort is powerful. In the next section, we're going to take everything we've learned and apply it directly to your work, your relationships, your habits, and your personal growth. This is where the 80-20 rule becomes something you can live by, not just understand. Let's continue. Apply the 80-20 rule to life areas. Now that we understand how to identify the powerful 20% and how to remove the distractions that drain us, let's bring this into real life. The 80-20 rule is not just a productivity idea, it is a life philosophy. And once you apply it to different parts of your life, everything begins to feel clearer, lighter, and more intentional. Let's look at how the 80-20 rule shows up in the areas that matter most. 1. Work and productivity. Most people spend their workday reacting, replying to emails, responding to notifications, jumping from task to task, constantly busy, rarely progressing. But your real progress, your meaningful, visible growth, comes from only a few key tasks. The 20% that matters, the tasks that move your goals forward, the projects that create real value, the decisions that shape direction. When you give deep focus to these few important tasks, even for just 1-2 hours a day, your work output will grow faster than you ever expected. The results it creates: faster progress, better quality, a sense of purpose instead of just movement. Because productivity is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters, deeply. 2. Relationships and social life. So many people try to maintain dozens of social connections, right? Then they keep up with everyone, respond to everything, stay available constantly. But the truth is, only a few relationships truly matter. The ones that support you, the ones that understand you, the ones where love, trust, respect, and authenticity flow naturally. The 20% that matters, the people who bring out your best self, the friends you can be honest with, the relationships where your heart feels safe. The results it creates: more trust, deeper emotional connection, a stronger support system. Life becomes lighter when you stop trying to be everything to everyone and instead invest in the ones who truly matter. 3. Health and well-being. We tend to overcomplicate health. We think we need extreme diets, intense workouts, or detailed routines, but sustainable health doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. The 20% that matters: a daily 15 to 20-minute walk, drinking water regularly, going to bed on time, eating real simple foods. These are small actions, but when repeated daily, they shape your life. The results it creates: more energy, better mood, stronger body, long-term well-being. Small, steady habits change your life quietly but permanently. 4. Learning and personal growth. Most people learn by consuming, watching videos, reading books, taking notes, but real understanding, real mastery, comes from using what you learn. The 20% that matters: explaining what you learned to someone else, practicing a skill instead of just studying it, reflecting and applying the idea to your real life. The results it creates: faster mastery, deeper understanding, knowledge that stays with you. The brain remembers what it uses. The core message: your life doesn't change because you start doing more. Your life changes because you start doing what matters most. Small, intentional efforts, massive long-term results. One focused hour is worth more than 10 unfocused ones. One genuine relationship is worth more than 20 shallow ones. One consistent habit is worth more than 100 intense promises. One lesson applied is worth more than 30 lessons remembered. When you honor the 20%, life opens. In the next part, we're going to bring everything together with a closing reflection that helps this message settle in your heart, not just your mind. Take a moment with me. Just pause, breathe, and let everything we've talked about settle. Because what we've explored today is not just a productivity idea, it is a way of living. The 80-20 rule is not about working harder. It's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's not about filling your schedule or proving your worth. It is about working intentionally. It is about realizing that your energy is precious. Your time is valuable. Your life is finite, and not everything deserves your effort. When you focus on the few things that truly matter, the few actions that create real change, your life begins to shift. Slowly at first, then visibly, then powerfully. You begin to feel lighter, more clear, more aligned, more in control of your direction. Because the truth is simple: your life does not change from doing more. Your life changes from doing what matters most. And that power is now in your hands. Your turn. Let's do this together. I want to ask you one question, and I'd love for you to answer it in the comments. What is one 20% activity you want to focus on more starting today? It could be a habit, a project, a relationship, a skill, a meaningful step forward. Share it below. I'll read your comment and I'll help you refine it so it becomes clear and actionable because you don't have to do this alone. We're growing together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your time, your attention, and your heart. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, protect your energy, focus your effort, and choose what matters most.